Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Chaos Child. So, in the previous episode, which was a little bit of a long one, we moved into this beautiful, not at all ugly, cozy-ass home. That last part is definitely true. It's a little small of a home, but at least it's a home for our main characters to now live in after losing their previous home due to the death of Big Bad Sakuma, which our main characters don't even know that he's actually big and bad. Maybe the big part, but definitely not the bad part. I'm already being very rude, but it's okay. Regardless, here we are in our brand new home, which, again, I still think is actually really cozy. Definitely no privacy, but definitely a cozy home. Kawahara found out about this place and confessed his love to Kurusu and was being a bit of an asshole. I didn't think that would ever happen, but, well, besides the asshole part. Definitely did not think that he'd be confessing his love, but he did do that, and I don't like his character anymore. Like, there was a little bit of a redemption arc that he had back in, chapter 3, and now he tore it all back down. So good job, Kawahara. And now, I'm starting to remember what happened at the end of the last episode. Arimura, she seemed very concerned by the conversation that Kawahara and Kurusu were having, You know, with everybody watching and listening, by the way. He definitely did this in front of an audience. So maybe, I'm hoping, Arimura will have something to say to us. She did look concerned. And then the next day.
いやー、この部屋寒いっすね。暖房とかないんですか？
おい。なんで今日も来るんだよ。
だから部活だって言ってるじゃないですか。
Oh yeah, that's another thing. They dictated this as like a part of the newspaper club.
何一つしてないじゃないか。
それは部長が指針を示さないからです。
しばらくは各自の自主性に任せるって言っただろ。
指示とかないとひなえどうしていいかわかんない。
I wanted to punch her. Yeah, don't we all? I wanted to punch her right then and there.
いいじゃない。どうせ毎日退屈してるところでしょ。
I mean, we could try going to school. I'm down for that.
さすがクルス先輩は宮代先輩と違って話がわかるなあ。クッキーおいしい。
Arimura was already digging into the tea and cookies that Nono had made.
もしかしてこれっておからですか？
あ、わかる？おからもらったから試しに作ってみたの。
Ah, yes, nothing like reading sound
でも
effects.
嬉しいわ。タクルったらそういうの全然わかってくれないんだもん。
そんなこと分かったところで世の中の情報とは何の関係もないだろう。知識っていうのはもっと別のところで培うものであって。
はいはい、わかったわかった。
Arimura grinned as she watched us.
何？
なんだかすっかりおしどり夫婦の貫禄ですな。
バカ言うな。家族なんだから当たり前だろ。
そうよ、家族なんだもの。
家族ね。
I think it's very unhealthy how they just keep on covering that up. Like, obviously, there's a little bit of that tension, if you will, between the characters, but they keep on throwing the family excuse around. Hey, sound effects again.
なーに？
いえ、別にいいですけど。そうそう、それより実は今日は先輩方に聞きたいことがあって来たんですけど。
All that wasted time and now this. If she wanted something, she should have just said so.
クルス先輩って南沢千里って人とお友達だったんですよね。
Yes.
え？
I leaned forward, surprised to be hearing that name now.
ほら、昨日そんな話をしてたでしょ？それでちょっと気になって。
ええ、小学校の頃よく一緒に遊んでたわ。川原くんと3人で。
ふーん。それじゃあ南沢さんってどんな人だったんです？
どうしてそんなこと聞くの？
いやいや、ちょっと興味がありまして。
I was curious too. Minamisawa Senri was the girl we'd seen in AH Tokyo General Hospital when I was a kid, the one we'd left behind. I'd always thought that she might be the killer, but now I knew that I was wrong. I'd only seen her for an instant, but she'd had a huge effect on my life. Thinking back, it was strange that I hadn't asked about her before. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Kazuki must have been interested too, because she was leaning forward and listening intently. And now the music disappeared. Oh, there it is.
千里は、おとなしい子だったわ。大勢の中に入っていくのが苦手で、私たち以外のことはあまり遊びたがらなくて。でも、優しい子だったわ。
なるほどなるほど。じゃあ彼女の家庭環境について。
それは、ごめんなさい。彼女の家のこととかあまりよく知らないのよ。だからもういいでしょ。
でもお友達だったんですよね。
友達だってお家のことまでは普通知らないでしょ。それに私そろそろ夕飯の支度もしなきゃいけないし。
She really dodged the hell out of
こいつ
that.
は失敬。私ったらついジャーナリストの血が騒いじゃって。
何がジャーナリストだよ。それらしい活動なんて一度も。
それじゃあんまりゆっくりしてもご迷惑でしょうし、私たちは帰りますかね。
あ、
Arimura grabbed Kazuki's hand just before she could take another cookie and then stood up.
というわけで送ってください、宮代先輩。
は？なんで僕が？
だって事件はまだ終わってないんですよ。そんな中か弱い女の子2人だけを帰らせるなんて状況のすることじゃないですよね。
I see what she's trying to do, and she's doing it well.
そんなの状況とは全く関係ないこと。
それじゃあ宮代先輩ちょっと借りていきますね。失礼しました。
待て、僕が行くとは一言も。
It's nice to see that they're friends here in this route as well. I mean, they are both first or second years. All I know is that they're the same year. I don't know if it's first or second. My memory is not that great. I ended up walking them home despite my protests. And I'm still unable to speak properly. My throat is not cooperating, which is okay. Why did I have to do this? I wasn't even sure what they'd come over for anyway. Yeah, what was accomplished? And on top of all that, Arimura had fallen strangely silent. Kazuki was always quiet, but experience had taught me that whenever Arimura wasn't talking, it meant trouble. Yeah, honestly, I feel like something's definitely amiss. She knows something, or she's piecing something together, or something's just straight up bothering her. Of course, it usually meant trouble when she was talking too. Oh, that's messed up. We walked along in silence before Arimura finally opened her mouth.
嘘ついてますよ、クルス先輩。
Uh-oh.
え？
それも南沢千里っていう人のことで何か隠してます。
My heart thudded loudly.
どうしてそんなこと？
どうしてって先輩も知ってるじゃないですか、私の能力のこと。
それはそうだけど。
She was lying? Nono was lying. To me. I was worried about Minamisawa Senri as well, but between the two, that was the bigger shock.
それは確かなことなのか？
なんなら私の能力もう一度お見せしましょうか。
I could see her D-sword floating out of the corner of my eye.
いや、大丈夫だ。
Nono was hiding something. But why?
実は 昨日話した時に気づいたんですよ。ほら、川原先輩と南沢千里さんの話してたでしょ。あの時クルス先輩、南沢千里さんは死んだって言ってたけど。
But
嘘だってのか。じゃあ南沢千里は生きてる
とクルス先輩は思っているってことになりますね。
Okay, so this was actually brought up back in the common route when we were talking about her. We didn't know if Senri had actually died when she was crushed or something like that. That was something that was brought up but never fully explained. And someone made a comment a few episodes ago talking about how there's so much that Kurusu has completely left out. There's this whole deal where Arimura has now brought up for the second time that Kurusu is lying, or at least not explaining the whole truth. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt, at the first time because I wasn't exactly sure if uncertainty could also be truth or a lie. I wasn't exactly sure about that, but no, something definitely seems to be up. And plus there's something that Kurusu still hasn't told us. And I had completely forgotten about this. Sure, she kind of explained her power to us, so that's step one. But I feel like there's much more that she has not told us, and she's just refusing not to. She was alive. Minamisawa Senri was alive. Maybe. I'm not sure about that though. I'm very uncertain. There's so much uncertainty in what is true and what is false when it comes to Arimura's power. Like, I just don't know. But why would Nono have to hide that?
それから彼女のことよく知らないって言ってましたが、あれも嘘ですね。
I knew that was a little weird. She even said it herself, like, a long time ago, or at least Kawahara did. It was, the three of them. They were all really good friends. It would be really weird if they were really good friends, but she didn't know a lot about her. What Arimura was saying was probably true. Nono knew Minamisawa Senri very well, and she believed that she was alive. Why did she think so? There were two possibilities. One was that she knew for a fact that Minamisawa was actually alive. The other was that she wanted to believe. If she'd consistently said she thought Senri was dead, then...
まあ、今となっては事件のすべては尾上セリカによるものなわけだし、だから南沢千里さんのことはどうでもいいのかもしれないですけど、でもちょっと気になったもんで。それじゃあ宮代先輩、私たちはここで。先輩
Did we just get slapped?
なんだよ和樹、いきなりつねるなんて痛いじゃないか。
No, we didn't get slapped, we got scratched.
さっきから話しかけてるのに宮代先輩がぼーっとしてるからですよ。ねえ。うん。
そっか。
It is nice to see, like, they're definitely friends.
ひょっとして私余計なことをやっちゃいました？
いや、いいんだ。別に大したことじゃない。
そうですか。だったらいいんですけど。
It's something that definitely needs to get brought up. I mean, it was something that was left completely open-ended in the common route. Just like how we really never knew about Kurusu's powers, where they came from, any bit of her past that may have led to her powers, and then there's the big topic that's now getting brought up, Minamisawa Senri. I said goodbye to the two of them and headed back to the apartment. The whole way back, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that Nono might be lying to me. Why? For what purposes? The same questions kept spinning about in my mind.
家族の間で隠し事はしないこと。これだけは守ってほしいの。もう家族がバラバラにならないように。
Yeah, good one, Kurusu. Good one. Let us make a rule and then not follow it immediately. Nono was the one who'd said that. No secrets. No lies. that was the one promise that kept us together. But maybe one of the reasons I don't like Kurusu that much is because
おかえりタクル。
of how much she just refuses to like fully open up. She yells at Takuru for all these things, and then she is guilty of so much as well. It's like, come on. When I got back, Nono was the same as ever.
和樹たちちゃんと帰った？
うん、途中までだったけど。
There was no sign of the awkwardness that had been there when she was talking to Arimura. But
あのさ、さっきの話だけど。
さっきのって？
oh, don't play dumb, please.
南沢千里の。
ごめん。その話はもうやめてもらえるかな。
どうして？
だって死んでしまった友達のことを思い出すのはとても辛いことだから。ご飯もうすぐできるからテーブルの上片付けてくれる？
わかったよ。
It was obvious that Nono was avoiding talking about Minamisawa Senri. Maybe it didn't matter at this point. But still, something was bothering me, like a thorn pricking at my heart. Minamisawa Senri. Maybe I needed to learn more about her. I mean, we did think that we honestly thought she was the killer, so there's a lot we don't know. There's a lot that we haven't been knowing. It was one thing to decide to learn more about Minamisawa Senri, but the question was how to go about it. I asked Kunasato and Shinjo, but they didn't have much to tell me. They knew nothing beyond what we'd found in the basement of AH Tokyo General, which meant that I had to ask someone who did know. To be honest, I wasn't happy with the idea, but I didn't have much choice. To Kawahara we go. Damn, it's been a while since we've been here. If I wanted to talk to him, this was the best place to catch him. Nono would ask questions if I left the house in my school uniform, so I went without it. That meant I stood out like a sore thumb. I recognized some of the students passing by, but they didn't pay any attention to me. They just chatted with their friends as they walked by. I waited for about 30 minutes. Finally, he appeared from the other side of the school gate.
宮代?
Kawahara frowned when he saw me. I knew he didn't like me, but he also probably felt awkward after what had happened yesterday.
ちょっと話があるんだけど、いいですか？
もしかして俺に宣戦布告でもしに来たか？
え？
なんだ、クルスに手を出すなって言いに来たわけじゃないのか？それなら少しは見直してやるところだったのにな。
What the fuck? Why? Kawahara seemed to misunderstand how things stood between me and Nono.
で？
え？
話があるんだろ？だったらさっさと言えよ。
Kawahara didn't even bother to hide his irritation with me. People were staring at us as they walked by.
もしよかったらどこか別の場所で。
Come on, man. Kawahara sighed and started to walk. I followed him. Remember when I thought he was the enemy?
この辺でいいだろ。
He was standing on the side of the road without even a bench. And it felt like his way of saying that he didn't want to talk for long.
早く言えよ。言っとくが俺はお前の顔すら見たくないんだからな。
I could tell from his tone that his hatred toward me was building. Damn, bro. I thought we felt something, you know, like a man-to-man sort of thing in Chapter 3. Was it Chapter 3? I feel like it was Chapter 3. But I felt the same way. I just wanted to ask him my questions and get the hell out of here.
川原くんは南沢千里さんと友達だったんですよね。
南沢？お前がなんで急にあんな奴のこと聞きたがるんだよ。
それはちょっと気になることがあって。
別に南沢はクルスと仲が良かっただけで、 俺はあいつのことを友達だなんて思ってない。
Oh, wow. I could tell that from the way he'd acted the other day.
その
Well, to flat out say it,
南
though.
沢さんはどういう人だったんでしょう。
そんなことクルスに聞けばいいだろう。あいつの方がずっと仲が良かったんだから。
クルスはあんまり覚えてないって言ってます。
覚えてない？そんなはずないだろ。俺だって覚えてるんだ。俺なんかよりずっと一緒にいたクルスが覚えてないわけない。
例えば
Kawahara glared at me, but then he sighed and started to talk.
南沢は初めて会った時から気味の悪いやつだったよ。いつも暗い顔して顔色も悪くて、声も小さくて何言ってんだかわかんねえし、陰気を絵に描いたようなやつで、まんまクルスの引き立て役だよ。そうだな、そういうとこお前にちょっと似てるかもな。
He laughed. He wasn't even trying to hide his disgust with me anymore. But I didn't care.
それで彼女はどういう家とか。
ああ、確か親が怪しげな新興宗教にハマっててさ。
Oh, great.
新興宗教。
It always seems to be a cult now.
名前までは忘れちまったけど、それで毎週日曜になるとそこの施設に通ってんだって言ってた。
Okay, you know what? I think the whole cult thing is really just kind of like a lead-in to the experiments. At least from what I got out of Uki's route.
どこっつってたかな。確かでっかい病院の地下とか言ってたな。
Okay, yeah, definitely then.
AH 東京総合病院。
そこだよ、そこ。なんだ、お前知ってんのか？
いや、そういうわけじゃ。
So Minamisawa Senri had been going there after all. Well, we knew that, like, there was a lot of certainty in that. But wait, did that place belong to some cult back then?
ああ、そういや。
He must have started to remember as he talked because he was speaking faster and more clearly.
いつも長袖着て隠してたけど、体育の時にチラッと見えたんだよ。そしたら腕に針の跡とかいっぱいあってさ。
Needle marks.
だんだん学校も休むようになって、今考えるとやばいよな、あれ。そんなだからうちの親なんかにもあいつとは付き合うなって言われてたんだけど、クルスが付き合うもんだから。
Kawahara's tone became sharper and angrier as he remembered the past. As I listened to him, of course, I was remembering the girl named Minamisawa Senri. I was sure her parents had taken her to that research lab. She was undergoing experiments there every week. The goal, of course, was to awaken her gigalomaniac powers. I didn't know if her parents had agreed to the experiments, but it was easy to imagine that she hadn't wanted to do them herself. And there was one more thing I could tell from this conversation. That was...
ねえ、そのことをクルスは。
知ってるに決まってるだろ。さっきも言ったように、あいつは俺よりもずっと南沢と親しかったんだ。しょっちゅう悩みを打ち明けられたりしてたみたいだし、あいつの両親のことだって俺なんかよりもずっと知ってるはずだよ。そもそも今の話だってほとんどガキの頃にクルスから聞いた話だしな。
そう。
よってのはそれだけか？
うん。ありがとう。
なんなんだよ。なんで俺がこんなこと。
I bowed to Kawahara and turned to go.
おい、宮代。
I heard his voice behind me.
クルスに早く学校に来るように伝えろ。それから、もしまたクルスに何かあったりしてみろ。ただじゃ済まさねえからな。
Good to know, I guess. God damn, dude. Like, okay, I get it, you know, he has a big-ass crush and everything, but he is a bit of an asshole. I can't fault him for, you know, liking Kurusu and being jealous and all that, but come on, dude. Once he was done talking, he walked off. But to be honest, I didn't care. What was important was that...
ごめんなさい。千里とは友達だったけど、あの子の家のこととかあまりよく知らないのよ。
So much for being
もういい
truthful.
でしょ。
So much for not keeping secrets. Nono was lying to me after all. Nono was hiding something. Something involving Minamisawa Senri. Even after she'd promised that she wouldn't keep any secrets. Which meant that she was, or that was a lie too, excuse me. Yeah, she's just lying out of her ass. Now, I'm not gonna go out of my way and say that she's probably alive or anything, but I still strongly believe that maybe she's not around. I'm not gonna get my hopes up or anything, but there's something about her that we need to know. Something big. I don't know exactly what, but since Kurusu is keeping so many secrets about her to herself, then I don't know. I feel like we need to learn more though. I had dinner and took a bath. Yuto and Uki had already gone to sleep. Nono had her textbook out on the table, excuse me. Even when she wasn't going to school, she was still keeping up with her studies. She'd asked her friends about what subjects they were covering and kept up with them at home. As student council president, she was trying to set an example. I'd gotten my Pokecom online, but nothing I was seeing was going into my head. I was trying to figure out how to bring things up with Nono.
もう、なーに？
何が？
さっきから何か言いたそうにしてるでしょ？
We just yell at her that she's a liar.
それくらいわかるわよ。タクルのことだもん。
Was that because we were family? But then why?
ちょっと外いいか？
I went outside with Nono. Of course, we couldn't get too far with the little ones to think about, so we only took a few steps from the apartment. Nono followed after me, confused. She looked just a bit nervous, probably because she wasn't sure why I'd asked her to come out here with me. What, she doesn't have like the slightest guess? I'm sure she has to. I turned around to face Nono.
なーに改まって。もしかして告白でもしてくれるの？
は？何言ってんだよ、いきなり。
She's trying to change the subject. She knows. She has
だ
to.
ってこんな夜にわざわざ外に連れ出すなんてそんな感じじゃない？
It was true that maybe you can interpret the situation that way. Maybe.
もうわかってる。冗談よ。そんなにうろたえなくてもいいじゃない。まあ、もし冗談じゃなかったとしても、私としては嬉しいけど。
からかうのはよせよ。
I took a deep breath to help me focus as I got ready to change the subject.
タクル？
A look of tension appeared on her face when she saw how I was acting.
あのさ、正直に答えてほしいんだけど。
うん。
お前、僕に隠し事してないか？
In the end, all I could do was ask her straight.
え？
嘘ついてること、あるんじゃないのか？
なに急に。どうしていきなりそんなこと言うの？
Just answer the question. Come on. Nono smiled. But I could tell. She was forcing herself to smile.
言ったよな。家族の間に隠し事はしないって。あの約束破ってないか？ノノ。
Maybe she had her reasons. But even so, I was tired of it all. I was tired of being betrayed. I was tired of having the people I cared about lie to me. To be honest, that is what got her killed in the common route. Well, besides Serica. There was a moment's silence. It was Nono who broke it.
信じて。
I need you to say that again, but like, much louder. Her voice was so tiny I could barely hear it.
お願い信じて。
ノノ。
これじゃ答えにならないっていうのは分かってる。でも今はお願い。
In the darkness, I couldn't see the look on her face, but her voice was full of sorrow and pain. Unless I trusted Nono, we can never truly be a family. Nono had said she wouldn't hide anything else. She'd said she wouldn't lie anymore. I was tired of being lied to, like when I'd found out about my parents' death. I didn't ever want to go through what I'd experienced when I found out Serica was behind the killings again. Excuse me. So all I could do now was...
わかった。僕はノノを信じ。
相変わらず甘いね、タクは。
Oh. Damn. Of course, that's right when I bring her up, by the way. A bitter voice echoed in the darkness. To be honest, I was wondering when she was gonna pop up, because it has been a while. The clouds split and the moon shone down to reveal the person in the darkness. Her D-sword shone in the moonlight, and a broken smile was plastered on her lips.
尾上。
A cold chill of terror ran down my spine, and I could feel myself start to sweat. I'd let my guard down. I thought that if I was lucky, I might never see her again. And I'd started to think that maybe I would be that lucky. I never thought she'd just show up out of nowhere like this.
いい気なものだな、クルスノノ。
セリカ、何をしに来たの？
それくらいわからないのか。
あなたみたいな人が考えることなんてわかるわけないわ。
あなたみたいな人。まるで自分だけが宮代拓郎を大切にしている。そんな言い方だな。気に入らない。
私はあなたとは違う。タクルのため、タクルが望んでいるから、そんな理由をつけてタクルを悲しませているあなたとは違うのよ。
I could almost see the invisible flames building up between them.
まあいい。聞きたいと言うなら教えてやろう。私がここに来たのは、お前からもらったものを返してやるためだ。
Serica laughed in twisted glee. That wasn't the Serica I knew. The naive, ditzy girl that was always by my side was gone now.
もらったもの？何のことかわからないけれど、その必要はないわ。持って帰ってくれて結構よ。
おお、ずいぶんと気前がいいんだな。だが、そういうわけにはいかない。あいにく、やられたことはきちんとやり返す主義でね。
Does something to her?
気をつけろ、ノノ。尾上は報復するつもりだ。
報復？そう。つまり、あなたはタクルを取られた復讐に来たってわけね。でも。
Nono pulled her D-sword from the void and readied it in front of Serica's face. But Serica didn't move a muscle. She just kept smiling.
血の気の多い女だ。それがお前の本性というわけか。いいか、復讐というのは何も力によってのみ遂行されるものじゃない。
どういう意味？
例えば、お前が必死になって隠していること、宮代拓が知ったらどう思うかな。
What she was trying to hide? Nono was hiding something from me. Well, obviously, but she just told me to believe her, and I won't. Why would I want to believe somebody that we know for a fact she's hiding something? She's definitely lying. Arimoto made that clear, and from Kawahara's explanations, it was like there was no doubt.
タ
タクはまだ知らないみたいだから教えてあげなきゃね。
Honestly, I'm down with that.
やめて。
ねえ聞いてタク、その女クルス・ノノはね。
Nono's D-sword flashed down at Serika's head, and there was a shower of pale sparks.
ほら見てタク、これがこの女の本性。
Nono flipped her wrist around, and this time the silver light flashed upward. There was a roar of spiraling wind. Even I could tell that Nono's stance was all wrong. She's fighting out of desperation. Serika was easily deflecting her attacks and grinning all the while.
ねえタク、まだわからない？その女の本当の姿が。
本当の姿？
お願い。
しょうがないわね。じゃあ私の口から教えてあげる。クルス・ノノのいいえ。
Oh, come on. Bro, tell me my anxiety is rising. My erection is too.
南沢千里の真実を。
The truth of... Wait, what? Oh, here we go. Okay, so explanation time. Minamisawa Senri and Kurusu Nono were friends. Nono was bright and cheerful, and everyone loved and admired her. Senri looked up to her too. Senri, however, was well aware that she was gloomy, and that she mumbled, and that no one liked her. So when Nono first spoke to her, she was more confused than happy. She even wondered if Nono was trying to show off what a good girl she was by hanging out with a failure like her. In fact, that's how everyone else had seen it. But as she got to know Nono, Senri stopped doubting. The two of them just seemed to get along somehow. Senri was quiet, and Nono liked to take care of people, sorry. The two of them became fast friends. Minamisawa Senri was a dear friend to Kurusu Nono. But for Senri, it wasn't that simple. From her perspective, Kurusu Nono had everything you could ever want. She was jealous. She knew it was wrong to think that way. She knew she should never think that way. But the more she thought about it, the stronger the feeling became.
ののちゃんが羨ましい。ののちゃんみたいになれればいいのに。もしもののちゃんのような星のもとに生まれていたなら、そうすれば私だってきっと、私はののちゃんになりたい。
That was Minamisawa Senri's wish. And then 6 years ago, there had been a deafening roar, a violent shaking, and a blinding light. And she survived it, I'm assuming. Kurusu Nono was right in front of Senri. Nono was... Oh no, you know what, hold up. Oh no, I think I'm starting to get what the hell's going on here. Nono was caught by a collapsing building and on the verge of death. She could barely keep her eyes open. There was nothing Senri could do for her.
死にたくないよ。私もっとやりたいこといっぱい。まだ死にたく。
And then her voice faded away. Senri would never hear it again. Kurusu Nono would never move again. So you're telling me... Oh my god. You're telling me that the real Kurusu Nono, The one we've known for this entire game is not the real Kurusu Nono, but the real one died in the earthquake, not Senri. And Senri is actually Kurusu, because her wish was to be Kurusu. So she lived on for Kurusu's sake, but also for her own sake. I actually don't even know if you can call it Kurusu's sake, but she lived on as Kurusu, and I think that's the takeaway here, from what I'm understanding. Senri cried. She knelt before Nono and cried and cried. Kurusu Nono was her only friend. She was sad to have lost her. And...
ののちゃん、私ね、ののちゃんみたいになりたかったの。
Not be like you, be you.
どうして死んじゃったの？ねえ、どうして死ねばよかった。私が死ねばよかったんだ。私なんてどうせ生きていたってまた苦しい実験にさらされるだけだもん。生きていても誰も喜んでなんてくれないもん。ののちゃんの代わりに私が死ねば。
And then there was a light.
なんということでしょう。目の前に魔法の剣が現れたかと思うと、南沢千里の体は不思議な光で包まれたのでした。そして驚いたことに、その姿は彼女にとって憧れの少女クルス・ノノへと変身していたのです。それこそが彼女南沢千里のギガロマニアックスとしての覚醒でした。発光の少女南沢千里は本物のクルス・ノノを南沢千里として葬ることで、醜いアヒルの子から白鳥へと生まれ変わり、輝かしい第二の人生を歩き始めることにしたのでした。
Wow.
めでたしめでたし。どうだったタク？南沢千里とクルス・ノノ、二人の少女の取り替え早物語は楽しかった？
It's something I would have never expected or predicted. My pulse began to quicken, and I started to lose the ability to think clearly. I could feel my soul shifting within my body. The ground under me shook unsteadily. No, it wasn't just the ground, it was my whole world. Everything that made up the person named Miyashiro Takuru began to shake. My head hurt, and I couldn't understand what I was hearing. What did I just hear? Was Sarika telling me that Nono was Minamisawa Senri? Wowzers. Nono was a gigalomaniac. I knew that already. But her power was...
違う。ギガロマニアックスとしてのノノの能力は有村と同じはずだ。人が嘘をついているかどうかを見抜ける能力。そうだったよな、ノノ。
Hey, I doubt that. And I doubted that actually when she stated it. Like, come on, there's no way that she has the same exact power as Arimura's, but it's not as, like, good or some shit like that. There's no way. And then there's the hint, you know, Senri always calling her a fake?
どうなんだよ、ノノ。
I guess in more ways than one. Nono said nothing, she just looked very sad. Senri's lips curled up into a mocking grin.
もうタクってば本当にバカなんだから、やっぱりタクには私がついてないとダメだよね。
どういうことだよ。
有村ひなえと同じ。人が嘘をついているかどうかを見抜ける。 嘘で塗り固めた反省のくせに苦し紛れについた嘘はずさんだな。
God.
嘘なんかじゃない。
私はなんだ、また宮代拓に嘘つくつもりか。
違う。私はクルスノノよ。
Serica must have thought Nono's words were the funniest thing in the world because her body was racked with laughter.
Onoe.
しょうがないから私の口からもう一度はっきり言ってやろう。いいか宮代拓、その嘘つき女の能力は輻射だよ。
Yeah, I sort of assumed that it was something along that. Either that or like being able to change her appearance into anybody else's, but I feel like that'd be like way too overpowered. So duplication, shadow clone jutsu.
そう、言うなればコピー。容姿、声色、寸分の違いなく別人になり変わることのできる能力。それがそいつの能力。
Never mind. I guess it is the overpowered shit that I just said that there's no way it could be. Perfect, beautiful, fantastic. Okay. Fuck shadow clone jutsu then. In other words.
だからタクが言い含められたのは全くの嘘。タクは騙されてたんだよ。初めて会ったその時からずーっと。
God damn.
僕は
What a harsh truth. Finally I felt a shock, like being hit with a club run through my skull. No. I'd been feeling that shock for a while now. But my mind was just so dulled that I couldn't even think.
ちょっとすごいだろ。まさかそこまで嘘ずくめだったなんてさすがに想像すらしてなかっただろ。
Oh no, I knew she was full of secrets if anything, and that she was lying, especially in this episode. That was very clear. But it does make you think, like just for so long. I mean, there was just so many unknowns about her, and this kind of clears that all up.
でもお前もこれで分かっただろう。クルスノノ、いや南沢千里という女の醜く悪辣な本性を。
Now those are some words.
南沢千里は親友が死んだことを悲しむどころか、これ幸いとあっけなく切り捨て、南沢千里として慰霊碑の下に葬った。そして自らは美しく明るく聡明で誰からも好かれるクルスノノとして第二の人生を謳歌していたんだよ。違う。ほんと感心するよ。普通なら罪悪感というものがあるはずだよ。よくそれで毎日ああやって笑っていられたものだな。
女って怖い。
何が違う？
Whenever Serica flips back and forth with her voices, I get a little scared. Serica's cold voice shot through the night like a bullet.
虚構と虚栄にまみれた汚らわしいペテン師。それが偽らざるお前の正体なんだよ。南沢千里。
There was a mocking light in her eyes as she glared at Nono. Without even thinking about it, I closed my eyes and put my hands to my temples. Black doubts rose up and began to take shape. I had seen Minamisawa Senri in my nightmares 1,000 times. I thought she hated me for not being able to help her. I thought she was the one behind the New Generation murders. And she was actually Nono?
嘘よ。そんなの。
おお、さすがだな。まだそんなことが言えるなんて。でも、まあいい。
Serica laughed a little and turned around to leave.
殺してやろうかと思ったけど、今日はこのままにしてやろう。なぜって、その方が面白そうだからだよ。せいぜい宮代拓に言い訳なりなんなりするがいい。惨めに、無様に、滑稽に。全てを偽っていた醜い自分を許してと地面に頭をこすりつけて泣いて謝ればいい。もっともそんなことしたところで許してくれるかどうかはわからないがな。
I can't even imagine what's going through Takuru's mind right now. What a reveal. She walked off into the darkness of the night, her laughter echoing down the street. I couldn't follow. I was helplessly caught up in what she said, as if I'd fallen into a whirlpool.
Takuru?
What is it, Senri? I mean, Nono. I turned toward the sound of a hoarse voice. Nono was smiling at me weakly.
Nono.
やっぱりあの子どうかしちゃったのよ。あんな見えすいた嘘つくだなんて。
嘘？
そうよ。あんなの嘘に決まってるでしょ。私たちを疑心暗鬼に陥らせて喧嘩させるためのセリカの見えすいた嘘。
I mean, we can easily clear this up if we just bring Arimura over and, like, you know, interrogate her. Lies? Who was lying and who was telling the truth?
第一、誰かと入れ替わるなんてそんなことできるわけないじゃない。あんな妄想を信じろだなんてどうかしてるわ。
Hey man, I saw flashbacks. I think that's true. Was it just a delusion?
タクル。
Her voice was nervous.
タクルは信じてくれるよね。
Maybe not.
私を信じてくれるよね。
I think what gets me the most here is that Kurusu was so determined to get Takuru to finally call her by her first name again, Nono. And when he did, she was so happy. She was speechless. She was really, really happy. I don't know if that's just, you know, her being so absorbed, into being and living the life of Kurusu Nono. But it definitely, like, it definitely threw me off of the track of thinking that that was the actual, like, truth. Not that I was ever on the track of thinking that. I thought Senri was dead even now. But in a way, I guess you can say that she was, because she became somebody else. Even so, that somebody else is just a fake of somebody that's now dead. Nono was right. I couldn't completely trust Serika right now. There was a good chance she was trying to make us suspicious of each other. But there were those flashbacks. Was everything Serika said a lie? But
タクル。
there was one thing I could say for sure. That was
信じていいのか？
I wanted to believe in Nono.
本当に信じていいのか？
She said we were family, or were a family. She said we wouldn't have any secrets. And I wanted to believe her. I didn't. I didn't want to go through that anymore. I didn't want to be betrayed by the people I cared about anymore. Oh boy, good thing you didn't hear about Sakuma.
わかった。僕はノノを信じたい。
I was probably saying that to myself, not to her. The real Kurusu Nono was already dead. Hell yeah. I mean, what? And another girl, Minamisawa Senri, had taken her place. Serika's words had come out of nowhere, and I couldn't believe them. And I'd already said that I'd believe Nono when she said that she was telling the truth. I wanted to believe, but...
タクル、おかわりは？
いや、いい。
朝だってあんまり食べてなかったけど、ひょっとして調子悪い？
別に大丈夫だから。
そう。
I said I wanted to believe, but it just wouldn't be that easy for any human being. The more you want to believe, the more you try not to think about something, the more the tiny thorn in your heart digs deeper into you. I knew that was just what Sarika wanted, but that didn't mean there was anything I could do about it.
もしかしてタクルさんとノノさん喧嘩してます？昨日からなんだかよそよそしい感じがしたので。ノノ姉ちゃんたち喧嘩してるの？
別にそんなことないわよ。ねえタクル。
ああ、喧嘩なんかしてない。
タクル兄ちゃん、早く謝った方がいいよ。
だから喧嘩してないって言ってるだろ。仮にしていたとしても、なんで僕が原因ってことになるんだよ。
It's always the guy's fault.
だってノノ姉ちゃんが怒ってる時は大体そうだもん。
心配しないで言うと、別にタクルが何かしたわけじゃないから。
本当？
ほんと。それよりほら、ちゃんと人参も食べなきゃダメよ。
僕人参嫌い。
そんなこと言ってたら強い男の子になれないわよ。
Nono was bothered by it too, and it showed up in the way she was acting. The doubts within me and Nono's unease had built up to the point where even Yamazoe could sense them. We'd fallen right into Sarika's trap. If there was any way to get out of this, it was... It wasn't that I doubted her. I was doing this because I believed her. Because I wanted to believe. That's what I told myself over and over again as I went to the meeting spot.
まったく、俺はいつの間にかすっかり便利屋になり下がってしまったようだな。
Ah, come on, Shinjo, come on. Alrighty, we're going to end the episode here. That was a lot to take in. Like quite a freaking bit to take in there. But crazy shit nonetheless. My predictions are always wrong, but I think that's okay in a certain weird-ass way. I like to be surprised. I like my expectations to be blown out of the water, but the thing is here, I didn't know what my expectations were. I was just, constantly, stubbornly under the assumption that there was no way Senri could be alive, especially after we got it wrong with the first time, with Haida Riko or whatever the fuck her name is. So that's why I was determined to hold my stance that no way is this bitch alive. We have debunked it with this character. We got it wrong. I'm pretty sure I titled an episode incorrectly. So I was determined to believe otherwise. And I guess in a way, I was wrong. I was wrong for doing that. And that's not necessarily bad either. I like, in this case, getting my expectations blown out of the water and my predictions just being proven false. It's always fun when, what's the term? The game is always holding the wool or whatever over our eyes or whatever, or maybe sticking the wool in our ears or some shit. The point is that the things that this game has done in terms of the story has just been wild. I'll definitely say. I'm very excited to see where this will go. I'm now holding the stance that yes, Kurusu is definitely dead and Senri is alive and has been standing in for Kurusu. That seems to be the only solution that makes any amount of sense. But then again, I'll believe anything. So we'll leave it with that. Thank you guys for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode. And hopefully we get some more information regarding all this fun stuff. I'll see you guys then.